Hello everyone, we are going to be talking about Worn Wanderers today, one of the first trading pen collectible games that you can play, and we're taking a look at some of the deck building as well as some of the team building. So in another video we talked about how do you initially build out your character. Now we're going to talk about how and why you want to pair them up together. So I'm joined again by the Cleromancy team, and let's get started.
So we're going to stack those cards in order: loot, then 3, then 2, then 1. Finally, we're going to take the pin, and we will place the post of the pin through the holes in the cards, and then we'll be free to wear it on our person, or a lanyard, or a jacket, where we will decide to place it somewhere amongst the rest of the team. So you can see over here, we've got the rest of the team all built out. All of the starter sets are going to have those 6 characters that you need to play, as well as some of these deck building options that we've shown you here. But you'll be able to sort of mix and match the placements as you see fit. Now, in Worn Wanderers, the placement is going to matter a lot. Right? The marching order of your party, so to speak, is definitely an important aspect of adventuring out in the wasteland of Del Rey. So you can see that we've put her in the bottom right, which affords us a little bit of redundancy. In a game of Worn Wanderers, you're going to randomly determine your first player, and then the second player will have the option to choose who's in the fight. You can either have the top 4, the bottom 4, or all 6 of the characters engaged in the fighting. So, having Rosie in the bottom row means that our opponent does have some recourse. If they say, okay, well that 2 boost 10, or that ranged boost 10, 2/7 attack isn't something that I feel equipped to deal with, or maybe I just know Rosie's general antics and I don't feel like dealing with her, I'm going to call it the top 4, right? And then it would just be the top 4 pins in the game. Likewise, the opponent would be subject to the same choice. So maybe they've got a really good pin in their top 4, and they don't like what you have in your bottom 4, then they'll pick that, and that will give them some ability to shape the battle, even though they're going second.
Yeah, because you're going to come into this knowing what you have stacked and what your ideal team that you want to battle with.
Exactly. Not to mention, you know who's got the best loot.
Right.
Right. So if you really want to get risky with it, maybe you put your 2 most valuable loots that are worth 3 points on the bottom. Right. And so by calling the top 4 pins at the beginning of the game, you know that your most valuable loot isn't at risk. Right. They're not going to be able to get those 3 loots. They're going to have a harder time winning. With the risk being that pendulum swings both ways. And if you're going first and somebody calls the bottom 4 on you, then your odds of losing have gone up.
Have gone up substantially, right?
Yes.
But that's the risk you take when you make your team, and that's half the fun of what you're doing in this game is that strategizing behind the scenes before you're even, just like any other larger big deck builder that people may have played before. You're putting a lot of time and effort into how you're building out your deck or your team here, because you want to try to go in there as prepared as possible for what you may face.
Yep,
that's what I really like about this. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and those decisions have a lot of impact, right? Just by swapping, for example, the Shifty Ray pin and the Rosie pin, right? We can guarantee that we'll get our Rosie pin in a combat, right? Because we're either playing top 4, bottom 4, or all 6, and she will be all of those. So, maybe she's a linchpin of my strategy, and that's why she's in the middle row. Right, now that allows me to have Rosie as, a central part of my strategy, because I know that my opponent is going to have to deal with her as one of those middle 2 pins. But yeah, there's a lot of strategy, like you were hitting on, Kim, with the deck building, right? It's a question of what colors are you going to take among your team, right? This is a starter setup, but let's say you really like some of the aspects of red. You can bring in some other characters that have red heraldry, and then you'll have access to a whole new set of cards with red abilities, right? And that opens up new strategies and new avenues to victory for you. Likewise, maybe you want to go a little bit of everything, right? And that has both advantages and drawbacks. So, like, picking your colors, really important. Picking your characters also is just a lot of fun, right? There's a lot of thematic pairings for characters.
Which is fun.
Ones that, have entwined stories. The lore of the characters is really fleshed out. So we're looking forward to continuing to dive into the world and the characters and how they all interact.
So what you're really saying is there are a number of different ways that you can really approach this if you want to play. Which is great,
yes,
because
absolutely.
then that caters to a lot of different players, and that's one of the things I wanted to showcase in this video is if you really like the lore of a game that you're playing, then you can play thematically with this. If you are somebody who likes to tinker and find the best synergies possible, there's a way for you to do that in this game. If you like to just try random things and you don't really care if they're going to win or not, that's how I build my CCG decks. What is the craziest thing that I can possibly think of to put together? You can do that here. So this caters to all kinds of different player types based on how you want to enjoy the game with others. And it's still going to be balanced enough for you to play against somebody else because they're doing the same strategy things behind the scenes that you are as well. And again, you're going to do all this in what takes around 10 to 15 minutes to play together. And then you're off. You're off to, you're off to find the next friend to play with.
Yes, and team building is a pretty quick process. It can just be pick some pins, put some cards on them, slap them in a random position, right? Or there's this whole level of strategy that we're hinting at, right? With placement and colors and game plans and backups. Or you just you like this character, you like this card, you put it on a lanyard, and it's still perfectly playable, right? A lot of fun, and like you were saying, games are nice and quick and short, so it's a quick learning process, and everything is fun to try at least once, right? Get a 10-minute game in, see how it plays, experience it kinetically.
Absolutely.
And carry on.
And you even could, should you meet someone on the street who is very curious about the pins that you have on your lanyard. I know it doesn't exactly meet your rules, but you could almost kind of go through and kind of split your current party and at least show them how it works.
Yeah, definitely. Right. You could take the left and the right and just say, I mean, there is definitely an aspect of like, what's there and they won't.
Right. And they won't.
But at the same time, too, we've played games where we've just sort of handed each other decks and been like, here you go. Figure it out. Experiment. And that's also, there's like a natural discovery there that's fun and exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're a really good friend, then you will either take them onto the interwebs or to your local game store to help them, once this game is available, for them to purchase their own set so that you can play together. If you're a really good friend, that's what you'll do for your other friend.
Yes, definitely. That way they can experience their own Worn Wanderers combats with their own deck builds.
Exactly.
Right, and begin their collection. Not to mention, playable game. Also wonderfully wearable pins.
Absolutely.
Right, they're fun art. Parker really knocked it out of the park with all of the art. And so even if you're not a gamer, right, even if you're just a collector and you like wearing enamel pins, we really wanted to cater to those people and say, hey, these are just beautiful pieces of interesting characters that you can wear. So,
well, awesome, Dennis. Thank you.
So
definitely check this game out and check out our other videos on how to build your team, what some of the art looks like, and more to come. And a special thanks to Brodie, Dennis, and Ryan for taking us through that team building portion of Worn Wanderers. Make sure you are looking out for this one in the fall and check out the other videos we have on our channel about Worn Wanderers. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button. Hey, and don't forget that subscribe button over there. We would be happy to continue to show you games we think that you'd enjoy. Until next time.